first I thought I was radical and I love Jesus and I was at a church that it was just like, come as you are. It wasn't, there was no boundary. No, it was just like, Jesus wants you to come as you are. And I just was on fire for the Lord. And there was a new woman that came into the church and she was churched already. Like she had been to a couple of ones and she like been through a couple of denominations, and she came and she thought she was on school me, and the first thing she said to me was like, I love your ministry, and I see you're a young woman in the Lord and you're raising your son and you coming to church. She said, but you are gonna lead the pastor to sin.
What?
Because your pants are too tight when you come to church.
Millennial Minded. Millennial Minded. Millennial Minded. Millennial Minded.
Welcome to the Millennial Minded Podcast with Marquis
and Jeeah.
And we're on episode 13. 13. Happy Thanksgiving to all those that celebrated and had a good time with your family and loved ones. Episode 13. We had a good time, right?
We did. Marquis showed up for Thanksgiving for the first time in a couple of years.
That's not the first time. I showed up last year.
He came, honey. He was dressed up. He was on his best bed. He even wanted to play some games, honey.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. Thank you.
Marquis was at our Thanksgiving for the family.
Yes, I was.
He did not hold what our colonizers did to us 400 years ago against his black mother.
That's true. So follow us on Instagram at millennial.minded. You can email us at the Millennial Minded Podcast at Gmail. And please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We actually got some new subscribers.
Oh.
Yeah. A couple more subscribers. Thank you for watching and supporting and commenting.
Yes.
So let's get into, I don't think there's anything trending.
No.
Nothing trending too much going on. No one, like you said, no one got shot. No one.
President still won't concede.
Right. He's still.
Coronavirus cases is still going, driving us crazy.
Yeah, they're getting. Yeah.
Stuff is getting worse. People are locking down little by little again. Mm-hmm. And Christmas is coming, which is my favorite holiday. Go ahead, Marquis, and say something smart if you want to.
We're gonna save the Christmas, the Christmas edit for.
I'm in the Christmas spirit already. The day after Thanksgiving, my tree. First of all, my Christmas tree been up since the day after Halloween. I just ain't take no pictures because I didn't want to embarrass myself. But the freaks that live in my town had Halloween decorations up since August. So I don't want to hear nothing about my Christmas decorations being up since the 1st of November. So I'm in the Christmas spirit. I ain't getting a whole bunch of people gifts or nothing like that. It's just the lights, the reindeer, the snowmen. Yes, I like the lights. Yes, I like to see the Santa Claus. I don't care. I don't care how bad the trees look, but just to see the little kids decorating the trees with their parents, that brings me so much joy. And Marquis can't do anything to take that away from me because the Lord gave me that joy. But go ahead.
Okay. We're going to... That would be a great topic to get into further down the line.
I'm not fighting with you over Christmas. We're not doing a Christmas debate. That's where I draw the line. You will not blaspheme my Christmas spirit. I draw the line there. I know the history. And I still choose to celebrate how I celebrate with my colonizers.
Oh shoot! Okay, we have to for the viewers.
Marquis
we have to talk about
doing
Christmas.
That episode by himself because I ain't debate. He ain't bringing down my Christmas. Then he gonna have me going back researching stuff, taking my Christmas stuff. No, I rebuke it right now. It's not gonna happen.
The Bible talk. We have to do that. So let's get into comments.
Okay.
Let's get into some comments.
We had some good comments last week. We always have good comments.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you so much for commenting. It gives us a lot to talk about. My mom said fix that camera, but That was her mistake. The laptop wasn't all the way up.
She was making sure her niece had the right angles.
Yo,
Come on,
you looked
auntie.
fly. You looked fly.
Come on, auntie. I got
Lips-
some shoulder out, auntie.
Lips, like Paula White did, didn't she? Didn't Paula White?
I'm
have it?
saved for real though, and my Holy Ghost is real, and I'm still going to heaven with my shoulder out and my red lipstick. We gonna get into
Lipstick is
that too.
popping. Yeah, we are. Right? Yeah, we are.
Do your church allow women to wear lipstick?
Yes, you can wear lipstick.
But you gotta cover your hair. Devil is a liar.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, but we'll
Don't
talk
start.
about that. Okay. We cannot, Sean P., we cannot rush kids back in school. Teachers' health and well-being have to be top priority. What do you think about that? As far as coronavirus.
For the coronavirus. I agree.
Me too. Jeeah popping. She been popping. When is she going solo? I think you're holding her back.
Who is that?
Listen,
Who trying to bring division in this unity? I ain't going nowhere, neither is Marquis.
Listen, well, look, let me be fair.
What?
I always tell you, yo, you're the star of the show. I'm the more balanced, and then bring the post editing and post production stuff and the music.
I don't do nothing but research and run my mouth, honey. That's all
But that's
I
what
do.
makes you the star. So
Research and run my mouth. Marquise don't need to gossip like me, right? But then that's a good thing.
yeah. Oh, we talked about men gossiping, but
we talking about communication and confrontation today. So we're gonna get into men gossiping.
We are.
Yes, we are. Come
I like
on.
that. Okay.
Other comments?
I'm following your lead on this one. I love the intro so much. It's catchy. That was me. Thank you so much. Look, one person. Wow, I never knew this happened on Thanksgiving.
A couple of people didn't know the real history of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Shots fired at Essex County. I think I did shoot a little shot.
All you said was, I don't live in Essex County. I'm bougie. Just because you don't know, you said I don't live in Newark. That's what he said. I don't live in Newark. I'm bougie. And when I looked at that, I was like, Negro, you was born in Newark.
No,
and your mama and your grandmama, because his mama and my mama got the same mama. So they was born between down south Jersey City, East Orange, and Newark. And he got the nerve to talk about I don't live in Newark.
Out of there, though. They took me up out of there.
I'm out of there too now. It's the best decision I ever made in my life. Lord, I thank you. I ain't going back. I drive through, but I ain't going back.
So you bougie too?
I ain't bougie. I just thank the Lord for where He's brought me to.
He brought you
I
a
didn't
mighty
know
long
it was
way.
a different way of living. First night in my new apartment, I ain't hear no noise.
Yeah.
I jumped up like I need somebody bang something. It's not natural. But Lord, I thank you.
Yeah. Oh Lord. One person said, "This is my opinion. I don't think you should take it because if it goes wrong, you're going to have the virus because they use a sample of the actual disease."
Oh, okay, with the coronavirus.
Yeah, but I think that's all viruses. They give you a
little bit of it. Same thing with the flu, right?
Yep, same thing with the flu. We only had food to share and to show each other love back in the day. We give thanks to God every day, and on Thanksgiving we come together as a family to do the same. I like that you brought that up.
What?
How our community, like African Americans,
yes,
how important like having food and coming together is in our community.
That's the only way we could.
Right. I think that was good that you brought that up. You're really good. I gotta say. Son, I love that you came clean. You're free.
Come on, Minister. What your mama say?
And stay free. You were not perfect, and I agree with you and watch you do a lot for the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, all things work together for good to them that love the Lord.
And are called according to His purpose.
There you go. Stay free and go deeper in the Lord. Okay. Thank you, Mom. This person said, please stream. We are streaming. Uncle said, always remember literature that is put out by people of a particular race, nation, or etc. will always make themselves seem more than what they are.
Ooh, Uncle Salim, yes.
That is.
Because a lot of the history that we have only comes from them. All history leads back to
Africa.
Come on. All history leads back to Africa.
Oh shoot. Should not be canceled. I think Thanksgiving should not be canceled because the time we think others. But although the history and the past of Thanksgiving is very bad, and the teachers teach students the non-truth, We must think that it's the present now, and we should not celebrate the holiday and use this day as a time to thank the world around us and God for everything they have done to us. That's my
Mm-hmm.
reason why I don't think it's a holiday for me.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm celebrating it. But yeah, I'd say that it's just a time to appreciate the things around us. I love your content. Continue. You guys are great.
Yeah, with the Thanksgiving content actually on Thanksgiving Day, I seen a couple of posts that they were thanking the Native Americans for being on their land.
Mm.
And I thought that was a good thing, but as African Americans, we don't have to thank the Native Americans for being on their land. Again, we were brought here against our
Yeah.
own will.
Yeah.
So their argument about Thanksgiving, that's the point I guess I was trying to drive
Mhm.
when they go back into the history of Thanksgiving. It had nothing to do with us. They blame us for everything. It had nothing to do with us. Remember, we were in Africa chilling, honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were in Africa doing our own little thing, and we
Mhm.
were brought here. So when people make the argument about it, I was just trying to reiterate that that's not our fight. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's not our fight.
You
Yes.
agree?
I agree. I agree with that.
We should remember and reflect with the rest of the world, but we ain't have nothing to do with what they did to the Native Americans.
Totally agree.
Okay.
Totally agree.
So now that we got that clear,
I still got to defend myself on Thanksgiving though.
come on.
But okay, let me keep going. I am not a millennial. Uncle's about a few months from being 60. God bless you.
You're a baby boomer. Go ahead.
I have also redefined many definitions to suit my own agenda. So Thanksgiving in my mindset has nothing to do with the pilgrims. It is a climax of a year-long journey of thanking God for what he has done for my family and
Okay.
friends, how he has kept us through the hard times of the year that is coming to a close. Okay. I agree. Okay, that's cool.
All
That's
right,
cool.
Uncle Saline.
Sean P. Africa is the birthplace of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't argue that. My thing was always Christianity is just not in the Bible. That was my thing. But
Africa is the birthplace of Christianity.
that's what Sean's saying. Yeah.
Okay.
We're the first people from England here in the Americas. Oh, and of course, my sister Rachel. She sent along a good one. Love it. I can't with you guys. It's so nice to see family behaving like family. Seeing us beat up each other. But I won't even read this one. But she did reach out to me via text.
Okay.
So we had a whole Rachel and I had a whole
Did she minister?
I would say what she was saying, we basically like came to like we're saying the same thing.
Okay.
Just coming from a different angle.
Okay.
That's how we both interpreted it, and then we started talking about something else.
Was that about Thanksgiving
about
or
Thanksgiving.
okay?
Yeah, she's coming from like it's not about that, it's about family and this and this and this. And I'm like, so here's my thing. Let me backtrack. What Jeeah described to y'all last week on last episode,
Okay.
this Marquis that walked out on Thanksgiving and all that, is true.
Okay.
That did happen.
I told him I ain't got no reason to lie. But
Right,
go ahead.
Right. So, but I want you to understand that this was a radical, just found out this information, Marquis.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like how I was with the abortion standing in your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got this new information, and this is law. This is Bible.
Yeah.
I'm sticking to it. Oh, okay, so that's where you were.
That's where I was at that time. So I was coming, and I'm trying to pass it on to my people, my family, as the first people I know. So I'm like, no. And just with other Bible stuff that I've had conversations with that we don't agree with in the family, I was too overzealous. That wasn't the way to go about it.
Okay.
And as time has allowed me to grow and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe just here a little, there a little, just share a little something, let it resonate.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because now the stuff that I was, especially about Bible stuff, that I was like talking about my mom and stuff, like, yo, this doesn't line up. Now, 3 years later, I think I haven't been in that church maybe 2-3 years.
Okay.
Now, she's like, oh, I can see that, or, okay, I see what you were saying. Now it's like,
Okay.
so anyway, so I shouldn't have come out that way. I was too radical. I was whatever. But I think the message was the same. Like I was telling Rachel, why can't we celebrate it another day? I'll still do this Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
but let's do it another day too. Let's do it next month. And you was like, well, what's your contribution? And it's like, yo, I didn't contribute anything
Why
this
you gotta do
Thanksgiving.
that to me, Jeeah?
Right. I didn't contribute anything this Thanksgiving or the previous 20 Thanksgivings prior to what I found out.
No.
But just me being there, that's what you guys wanted. So I got to contribute now to do it next month or whatever. So that was my thing. Like, is it really about family and God?
It should be.
Or is it really about tradition?
No, it shouldn't be about tradition.
Yeah, I agree. But that's what I'm feeling. That's what I've always felt like.
It was more tradition than family and God.
Than family and God.
This year, how did you feel different? Did you feel it was more?
No, I felt like it was Thanksgiving. It was just kicking it with the family. Can we not, maybe not just ours, maybe a lot of families, but we only come together for a funeral. So I was like, yo,
Funerals, weddings, yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's
Get
do
together
this.
more.
If this is about God, that's why I said God last time, or Thanksgiving, let's not box God into this one day that these terrible things happen that I know we had nothing to do with. Let's do it another day. Let's do it once a month. Let's do it. And there was so much opposition that I'm like, okay, it's not about God. It's not about Thanksgiving. It's about, this is a holiday that I want to keep.
Okay.
And that's when me and Rachel came to that, like, you see, I agree we should spend time with the family, but there was so much opposition. We came to agreement, like, okay, we're cool.
Okay.
So that was my thing. We should still celebrate it. I don't think we should cancel it. But let's keep on doing
Rachel
this
ain't the one
Thanksgiving.
cooking your food. Let's be clear. Okay, Rachel, you wasn't up frying chicken on Thursday that he loved.
Right.
And making food
You
and
made
pies.
some good
and
wings, by the way.
I did. And I made pies and cheesecake
Wait,
that
that
he
wasn't
ain't
seasoned the
touched.
same, though. You said somebody's
Fisa seasoned them for me.
Oh.
My sister seasoned them for me.
Okay, we ain't gonna go there.
Here we go.
Right.
Now the chicken wasn't
And
seasoned.
the,
It was seasoned good last year when you ain't show up. So now
I was there like, yo, the one thing I asked for my family to do with me on Thanksgiving, believe it or not,
play Uno.
play Uno with me.
We don't play Uno.
They wouldn't do it. What happened to togetherness? What happened
That's
to family?
secular. I don't play cards. I don't play cards or board games. I'm too spiritual for that.
Well, nah, I like that. I like that. But we had a good time. Overall. We did. So that was my trying to defense. I was too radical at the time. I was a new convert.
Yeah, he was.
That's all.
And I guess as a family, it wasn't a slap in the face, but it was a shock because that's usually not his character. He's usually like laid back, like, okay, like he don't fuss and fight over a whole bunch of stuff. And then when he came like, I know. I was like, no, I'm being a bit dramatic because that's not his character either. But that's the way I took it. Like, I don't want your fried chicken, sis. I eat it on Friday. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So that's the way we were all looking like, where did this new Marquis come from? So that's why the family was like, okay. But now that we got him back,
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
because we doing it the right way, even though we still celebrated it on Thanksgiving on that day.
Hopefully we can do more of it.
Yes, more of it. Baby steps.
There we go.
So now we on episode 13.
Episode 13.
And the key to this episode
Go ahead.
is communication versus confrontation.
Yes.
This is something I've been wanting to get into for a while.
I'm letting Jeeah take the lead. Not letting her, but she's taking the lead on this one.
Yes, okay. You can say you let me.
No,
I'm learning like filler words to be more submissive. Like I'm gonna let you because my nature would have been like you ain't letting me
right.
do
And
a hard thing.
And because of that nature, it checked me when I said that.
But
It
you
hit
see,
me.
I'm such a confrontational person that he had to take that back.
Yeah.
And I'm learning just to communicate how when you say I'm gonna let Jeeah, how does that make me feel? It makes me feel like I'm less than, and that you are allowing me to do.
Right.
But
I don't want to. That wasn't the case,
that's
though.
not his case. So, communication versus confrontation. So the main ways we communicate. I'm not getting into like the nonverbal, verbal, written.
But
all
you're
that.
good at that nonverbal communication.
Rolling my eyes.
No, I mean, you know how to read body language.
Read body language.
Yeah.
But sometimes I misread body language.
That's everyone though.
Yeah.
Even FBI agents. I have an FBI book on about reading body language that I studied. But at the end of the book, it says, listen, at the end of the day, it's still 50-50.
Sometimes, because people nervous, they just give off different signs.
Exactly.
Yeah. So my main focus is like verbal communication. Like, what are you saying? How are you getting your word across? Are you listening?
Mm-hmm.
And recently I've been trying to challenge myself to listen more and speak less.
That's always tough for us to do.
Because I'm the type of person that I get emotional and I feel like I have to get my word out and my feelings across for you not to ever do or say what you done or did before to me again.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm learning that at this point, less is more. There's some things that I don't even have to respond to that you'll know that you just ticked me off.
Okay.
Go ahead.
For me, hearing you say that, I've always wanted to be
more vocal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always wanted to be more vocal because I was too just fall back, just chill, not assertive, basically passive aggressive. Like me and Sean was talking the other day about how much we used to call it grease, how much I've greased him in the past. Like, yeah, man, I'll be there in a minute, dog. And I knew, I was younger.
Okay.
But how much grease I used to do to a lot of people, actually, because of being passive aggressive.
Oh, okay.
So
you just wasn't able to say, I don't want to come. I ain't going to be there. Let's reschedule.
Right.
Okay.
And I think, I think more so what you're saying is like when people have said something that bothered you or triggered you, you felt like you got to get it out. And I always laughed it off. Mm-hmm. But then later,
it comes out in other ways.
And I'm regretting, why didn't I get that person?
Okay. So we're millennials. Now, according to research, we communicate the best through text messages.
I do it.
And our text messages and emails can get our first form of communication for millennials is a text message. The second is an email.
What?
The third would be a phone call. And then the last would be face-to-face.
That's bad.
Because I have seen now what baby boomers, the first thing they do is they either call or write. They call and have these long, and we are like millennials will get to the point type of communicator. Like you don't have to call us like stuff that people call me for. It's like you could have sent me that in a text message.
Yeah.
But based on who we are communicating with, we got to expect different levels of communication. So if we're communicating with baby boomers, older people, older than us, older than 40, older than 50, don't expect for them to send you a text message or email.
Yes, I agree.
They will rely on email if they have to, but number one, they want to either meet you face to face or they want to call you for 3.5 hours and discuss what they need to discuss and write down notes next to it. We text and send notes at the same time.
How do you feel about that? Because I don't know if we're getting to that part yet, but how do you feel about the fact that we rather text someone than just have a phone conversation? Because so many times have text messages been misunderstood or the intent of it.
Oh, well, yeah, we're going to get into that. Okay. The intent get misunderstood, but that's just because we are and how we grew up with the phone and when it came out, it's just our go-to for the number one, just communication, period. Not when it's like, when you trying to get your point across, just communicating, period.
Yeah.
You got something to do, you got somebody to meet. It's usually with us, it's a text message.
Yeah.
Now with Generation Z, that's the same.
Son.
That's my son. That's everybody that was born after 96, 97. So Generation Z, with them, it's text messages, but it's like one letter word, like K instead of OK, and emojis like heart, like check emojis and stuff. So they get that, and they do a lot of FaceTiming now. We don't really do a whole bunch of FaceTiming, but Generation Z, they do a lot of FaceTiming, a lot of social media communication.
That's the one that irks me, the social media one.
So That's where we are with communication. Now with us trying to communicate difficult things, there's some things that we have to be mindful of.
Go ahead, lay
Some
it on
things
us.
is just direct communication. Some things you just can't avoid.
Yeah.
And depending on how you take it is how you're going to respond to it. So if you, let's say you sent me something and I was offended by it.
I sent you a text message.
You send me a text message and I was offended by it. Or you say something that we were together last week that I was offended by and I just let it brew. If I say it directly to you, it's gonna come out as a confrontation because I'm reserving back to my feelings. But if I send it in a text message, I can plainly write out, this is how I felt, Marquis, and I don't know if you feel the same, or like, I think sometimes we get when we take our feelings out of it, it's more effective for us to send it written.
Why can't we? There's been times where I had to take my feelings out of stuff and write an email or send a text. I agree.
And it comes out more like your feelings are not in it. You giving facts because we communicate 4 or 5 ways. We communicate in work. We communicate basically church or school. We communicate with family members, friends, and just social media. So those main 4 ways, if you take your feelings out of everything that you do when you're communicating, does it come off more effective when you send in a text message or email?
It does. I recall myself a couple of times having to calm down, take those feelings out, and write it out, and it's much more effective. I was able to state all my facts because when you're in the emotion or those feelings, you might forget some stuff.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it was better sometimes to pause, whatever, write it out, and then I can remember everything, send it, and it was it definitely hit. It definitely was more effective. The flip side is the whole thing about stuff getting misconstrued through text message, even if it's not feelings involved. I feel like I learned it's always better to just talk it out.
It is.
You know what I mean?
That would be the best one, but that's not what we rely on as first. That's usually not our first choice. It's usually in a text message. But again, if you say something to me that I need to confront you about based on the energy you give me and your body language, I'm looking like, no, I should have sent him a text because now I'm looking at him. He can't look me in my eyes, or she rolling her eyes. She on her phone while I'm talking, pouring my heart out. Sis, you got me messed up when you said this to me or something. And based on your body language, if it's not receptive of how I want it to be received,
or your tone and your
voice. Now I've had.
So wait a minute. So you feel like it's better? I understand that that's our go-to.
Yeah.
You think that is the better way though?
As millennials, that may not be the better way, but that's the number one way we do it. Okay. Because a lot of some millennials like you, they have problems with confrontation. Now I have a millennial that I had to have a confrontation with. And when I tell you, honey.
Let me mark that. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
I've had a couple of confrontations in my life, but this was a different one. Something came across different, like this person we had a ceremony at church, and this person forgot to include my child. And I sent a nice message. And my message, you could tell I knew I was mad in the message. And she simply said in the message, because of the texture and the tone of this text message, when we meet, I'd like to have somebody there with us.
Okay, so basically your text message had all the emotions still in it.
Yes.
Now, did you take time first to decompress before sending that message?
I did not.
So you just shot.
I just shot the message. I was in my feelings, and I said, we got to meet face to face because of, whatever happened. And she was like, yeah, we can meet, but somebody else going to have to be there based on the way you just sent this message, Miss Honey. And I was like, okay. And we got to meet with one person. And then when I got to the meeting, like 3 days later, it was 3 of them. against one, honey. So now all of the emotions that I felt came flooding back. Like, oh, you said it was one of y'all. Now
That
it's
was
three
three.
of y'all. Now my guard is really up. And then the whole meeting, it should have stayed between that person and I, because the other two people that was there, and the scripture says, if your brother offend you, you talk to them first alone. And
Yeah.
then you bring one person. Then if you have to bring two people, then you tell it to the church. And then you cast them away as a tax collector. But the two people that came with this person, when I had to confront her about what happened, the two people was like, who you think you are?
Oh, word?
How dare you be angry with this person?
Oh, word?
We don't even know you like that. I said, this heifer done set me up. And because they was older than Methuselah, I had to like reserve how I would normally confront. Like we wound up getting through it. But because I was so angry, I learned so much from that one meeting. This was had to do within the confines of a church. It was something that, happened in church. So I was trying my best to take my feelings out of it and not be emotional. And then they got emotional. But initially, all guards was up. And I'm looking like, how could I have avoided that?
Because you didn't. Actually, you go ahead. How could you have avoided it? I know what I'm thinking.
Well, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking taking that some time before you sent that text message.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's all I had to do was take some time, and then really explain how I felt in the text message. Yeah. And then because the person is who she is, it's just like, it was like a misunderstanding. And it was like, but I blew it up because, of course, when your children is involved, feelings are, you ignored my child. You don't see him every week that he back here with the rest of the kids, and you skipped over him. Was that was, and I read too much into it. Wow. So I became like this confrontational person that nobody wanted to deal with, because she is always about to pop off. And it's just like, you have words, Jeeah. Use your words. Take your time. I don't want to come across as this angry black woman every time something don't go my way or if I disagree with something. And it was just like, I felt like I was justified in my feelings with that, but then it taught me a lot about, don't give people the benefit of the doubt, to use your words in a manner that it doesn't turn into a confrontation. So communicate effectively.
Right. Okay. Now, is there a time to be confrontational?
Scripture says it is a time to be confrontational. Scripture actually tells us in the word, we need to confront more than we need to communicate. When it comes to the word, they said, listen, who was it?
What are we talking? Yeah.
Paul was like, he confronted Cephas.
Oh, Peter, he did.
Peter.
Yeah.
Then he say, I'm calling you out. You're a hypocrite. What you mean? You was just with James and them, and now you talk about you don't do, like, Scripture says to be confrontational when it comes to the word,
especially that
That's
word.
why maybe some preachers are so like bold in their
it says
rebuke,
it says
reproach.
Yeah.
It does. But it does say in teaching, in gentleness, and in kindness. But some things the scripture tells us to be as bold as we can when we confronting people about the word.
Yeah, I feel like you should, the false teachers, I don't think you need to pacify them.
No.
You need to hit them hard, especially with word, because they're, people's lives are at stake. You know what I mean? So I think for that. But for other things like the message that you sent, maybe that should have been the gentleness, the meekness. We're going to confront, have this conversation. We got to deal with this because I feel this way. Mm-hmm. But in meekness, gentleness, whatever the case may be. I think that stuff like that you should. But other times you got to, especially when it comes to that word.
When it comes to the word. But there's, what I'm learning is that what happens is people take that word and they do it. They take that boldness and they confront or they communicate in a way that's aggressive, and it's not against the word, it's against people's lifestyles and what you do and how you're supposed to act. And it's just like, am I
Mm.
getting that wrong? It's just like, no, if somebody teaching something false, then that's when you do it. But when you got people, preachers up there calling people names and gay bashing and doing things like that,
Mm-hmm.
is that, I don't think that's right to do.
I think you should call the names. The gay bashing is I wouldn't do
Mhm.
from the pulpit to anyone at all. Matter of fact, not just
Mhm.
pulpit. But you should call out those names and say, you're living because of their teaching
Mhm.
falsely, and you see that their lifestyle, they're benefiting off of this false teaching.
Mhm.
That's why you hammer them on their lifestyle and in the teaching at the same time.
On the pulpit?
Hmm.
I've
I
been
think so.
hammered from some people's pulpit.
Me too.
I've
Come
been
on.
hammered and my whole thing is, when we talk about communication with our generation, we do a lot of indirect. Like, don't just call subliminals, memes. Me and you have an argument, and then you go on Instagram and post a meme like this, and it's just like, I know you're talking about me.
That annoys the heck out of me.
We use emojis and memes and indirect messages, and instead of calling a person up. And if you mean enough to me, I'm gonna eventually call you and talk to you about however I feel. Now, I'm not gonna dump all my garbage out on you. You don't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something that we can just work out, don't post nothing on Instagram. Don't post nothing on Facebook. Don't be indirect.
Yeah.
And that we do that so much.
Yeah, I've had that. Yes, I've seen it.
Somebody posted something about you on
Come
Facebook.
on.
What somebody posted about you on Facebook? Give me one thing.
A lot of subliminals happen.
About you?
Of course.
You're not even that active on social media.
No, I'm not active, but because other people that are millennials.
Well,
I don't know why I'm a millennial that's not that active on social media. Would you say you're active on social media?
I am.
Okay.
Well, you one that's is least active that I know, but
I don't know. Something wrong with me. I don't know. Something wrong with me. But yeah, people that sub this and stuff, or sub talking from the pulpit and all that stuff, like that's corny. I prefer, if you're gonna do that from the pulpit, call the name out. I really do. Like, don't.
Oh,
yes. So
is that what we using up God's time to do?
Again, if it's for not just to talk about somebody, I don't think you should be using up God. Yeah, but like a pastor would like bring up Joel Osteen.
Okay.
His false teaching, his prosperity gospel.
Okay.
And then his lifestyle. I have no problem with you talking about that from the pulpit.
Okay.
But don't talk about, I'm going through something and you talking about me from the pulpit.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not cool.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That's why when you communicate different things, I'm not speaking against anybody's personal pastor, anybody's preacher, anybody, whoever you comfortable with in church or in any setting. But the number one person that you need to communicate to is either yourself, your significant other, and if you need help, go to a professional. At this point, go to counselors are paid not to tell your business, sis.
All right, so the Bible says, I think in James, confess your faults to one another, and
you go ahead and confess your faults to one another and see won't everybody in the church know about it. Because people not holding up the word that we should, the way we should. So now we think that we're going to have a prayer circle about what you're going through, and that's not what this is for. And we should get counsel and wisdom. Only fool shuts away wisdom.
Yeah.
Only a fool shuts away counsel.
That is to like have a person that you could be real with, instead of putting on this facade that I have it all together and I'm coming to church and I'm holier than thou. But you can really talk to someone confessing your real fault. Like, yo, we should have somebody. That really does strengthen the body if you were able to do that. But like you just said, I guess none of us are living up to the word exactly. So you tell somebody something, the whole everybody know.
And
Not
it's
just in
not all,
church.
not
Yeah,
just
I
a
was
church
about to say
at
that,
work.
yeah.
You
Work,
can't
yeah.
some stuff you need to keep to yourself at work. When you're having a confrontation at work,
Don't talk about it.
first thing I go to is my policies and procedures. What is the confrontation? What's the conflict policy? What's the communication? And if I have, because I have been the type to where I'm a emailer.
Mhm.
I'll send an email, and I've gone to people, and it has been like, Jeeah came to me and I didn't like her approach. And some people can't take my direct approach, and I understand that.
Mm.
It's
Do you feel
too
like
much.
do you feel like you're too much? Okay.
I can be too much.
Okay.
I can be too much, but that don't mean that I need to pull back because you can't handle it. If I'm not cursing you out, I'm not calling you no names. I ain't got my, I ain't got my finger in your face. Like, you shouldn't be intimidated to have a conversation about me, because clearly, if I got to come to you with something that happened along the way that we got to have a conversation about.
Yes.
But I've learned now that I would probably go to my boss or my director or something and say, what do you think I should do about it? Because I think if you have to meet like with a boss or somebody, it shows a level of immaturity. Like, y'all couldn't figure this out on your own.
I do agree with that.
Right?
And I've had
like,
that happen
y'all
to
called
me
me for this.
Yes, I've had that happen to me before, where when I first started my new job, and everyone was complaining about the heat wasn't working in the building, which it wasn't working. Everyone was cool, but no one would say anything. And I just got hired, and I'm thinking, all right, let me go talk to the boss and save the day. And I told him, like, everyone's, complaining, it's blah, blah, blah. It's too cold. What's up? Can we get someone in here? He's like, man, grow a set of balls.
Oh, your boss said that to you?
He said that to me. And I said, in my head, I'm thinking, where I came from, if you say something like that, HR, like,
yeah. I got a complaint coming.
Right. But because of the atmosphere I'm in is like owner, it's not really an HR department and stuff. So I'm like, hold up, you can say that to me?
He sure did.
He sure did. And I walked my tail. Now, that should have been a time where I should have been assertive, but that was, I don't know, 6 years ago. So I had to learn all this stuff. But that time that made me feel bad. I feel like I got played because everyone was putting me up to it. Go talk to him. And he was like, man, grow a set of balls, man. Get out of here. Like, and I was like, hey, I felt terrible. So, I don't know why I just brought in that story.
Well, it's a form of communication, but clearly they have the issue with communicating, and you don't have a problem confronting because your motive was right.
Right.
So a whole bunch of grown men couldn't tell this man that it was cold and they got the newbie to come. Because you're not a man that gossip. You're not a man that go back. You kind of like deal with it the way men's supposed to. Like, you go to it, and then it says something about that man that's trying to like diminish your feelings, because like there's some things you don't say to other men. I've learned in my you don't invite another man to your privates. You don't it's some things that as men it's just deemed disrespectful.
Yes.
So for him to be able to disrespect you like that is something wrong with his manhood and his confrontation.
Woo-wee.
Cause you ain't really got to do all of that. If your ball's hanging and yours done drop, you ain't got to refer to another man's. But you still work there, so let me keep my mouth closed. Edit that part out. Edit that part out. You need to keep your job on it.
Wow, I didn't even think about it that way, because when I'm not going to talk about him because he's
okay. No,
I agree.
But you learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
Did it hinder you from ever going for anything else?
No, but whenever anyone from that point on, my gums was up. I was this is bad. You shouldn't be looking for people.
Okay, you locked and loaded.
Right. That's not cool. I feel like they shoot. All right, you respond. I was out there just looking.
Oh.
But ever since then, I think that job helped me to like really become assertive and be more manly. Because that made me feel bad, and I ain't never let no one say something crazy like that to me ever again.
I know that's right.
And sometimes they'd be like, "Yo, you too I'm getting like you and my mom too much sometimes. I'm like, nah, I'm trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna talk to me any kind of way. No one.
It's not warranted. Some
Yeah, men
things
should respect men.
I've sucked up when I know my bosses or like my coworkers, like we heated or it's we tired, the week is long and stuff coming. Some things that's just like because I don't want to respond in emotions, and I
Yeah.
know that how I can respond is just
Mhm.
like, girl, it's a pandemic, honey. You need to keep your job, keep your mouth closed, Jeeah. Don't say nothing. And then when I don't say nothing, they be like, Jeeah, you all right?
You
You ain't got nothing to say? I'll be like, nope, I ain't got nothing to say. I still got a job during the pandemic. I ain't fussing and
Yeah,
fighting with
yeah,
nobody.
yeah.
So it's just like that.
How do you decompress when you've had a situation or whatever that has bothered you or triggered you? How do you decompress and then respond to it assertively?
Well, time.
You just wake
Time,
your
you know
time.
how they said time heals all wounds.
Yeah.
Just like I won't be as mad as I was tomorrow as I am today. So let me just calm down.
Okay.
And if I'm offended, you got kind of go back into self-preservation. Like if somebody called you a name, I've been called every name that can be. I've been called some things that I've never been called before.
Mhm.
So certain things like that, but how people make me feel is the one that kind of gets me to where I'm too emotional to respond.
Yeah.
So I figure like when I calm down and then I think about what's going on with them that they had to do that to me. Or what's going on with hurt people. So when you
Yeah,
communicating
yeah.
with somebody and they trying to stab you and they trying to hurt you and they, like, why you trying to hurt me? Really,
Mhm.
my son is 19 now, and there's been times that as a parent, people say like communication with children, like I do what I say and not as I do.
Yeah.
That don't work for children.
No,
It didn't
no,
work
no.
for certain generations because some things he was just like, "Ma, I need to talk to you. Like I need to get out what I'm feeling." And I could not dismiss him to say, "Well, you don't have a right to feel that way because I'm your mother." Or you don't have, and it's just like, I understand that you feel this way, but let me tell you how I feel. And then let's bring it together. And my son is one-sided sometimes. So sometimes he don't even care how I'm feeling. It only matters how he feels. And I understand that coming from him.
The only
So
child thing?
it's the only child
Okay.
syndrome. I'm the victim. They all did this to Nehemiah. You hit them first, but I was trying not to hit them, and it's always back to they made me do what I did. And I try to, like, people will have their opinions on how you parent, how you dress, where you live, and just different things all around. It's the way we communicate how people make us feel.
Mhm.
And communicate boundaries. Don't talk about my child. Don't worry about what I got on.
Yeah.
Men shouldn't be commenting on certain stuff with women. I don't like that.
I don't think men should be commenting on men what they do.
Well, and then when we get into like church setting and work settings, there's certain things that go on that we have to confront about.
Mhm. I agree with that.
I've been torn down by men in the church than I have been men in the world. I confront every time I get a chance. I gotta listen. Is there something wrong? Do you have an issue?
There's something wrong with that person though that feels like they have to tear down other people.
Well, when you have a certain status, you kind of think that you obligated. Like this, like I'm here and you're under me, and I said what I said when I said it, and that's kind of like where you taking it. And it's just like I'm not used to men talking like that though, so it's just like it gets me to a point where it's like, oh, okay. And then women, the same thing. There's some women in the church or in the world that because they are of a higher standard or a higher like position, they think that they can talk to anybody. You ever been cursed out by? Now you've been cursed out by a woman. Now you have.
That's flashback.
You ever been cursed out by a woman that's like the head or some? She will break a spirit of a man, a woman. She'll break anybody's spirit.
They have that power to do that. I was more thinking so not even in relationship, but I was more thinking like women in authority,
Yeah.
like a police officer.
Yeah.
They can be really
They the worst ones.
Yeah,
Send me
yeah.
a man. I know how to talk to a man.
right. But it's like they really want to. Again, that's something missing in them though, that they feel like they have to flex or dominate this person.
They're in a male dominated society. And so I understand where the bossiness of a woman would come from because men run everything. And so we do have to step up in some instances in the workplace and in home and in church and, in our daily lives. We do have to step up. But we also got to remember how we communicate things to people so it does not break down people.
Yes, I agree. So ultimately, when this is all said and done, for us, confrontation, communication, your go-to is going to be after you calm down, if you take time, and someone says something that was crazy, you're taking time and you're responding via text message, or are you calling that person?
I would leave it up to it'll be subjective to the person. If it's more valuable for you to hear, for them to hear how you felt, I think that will work better because you can hear the pain in my voice, or you can hear the concern, or you can actually hear some things that you can hear.
Or they can hear things in your voice that they think is, you're upset or you're feeling some kind of way. And it's like, no, this is just took me back for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm not upset. But then it can like trigger and go into a worse debate or argument too.
But you can avoid that. Let me tell you how you can avoid that. It's simple things that how you can avoid for you being misunderstood or your feelings being misunderstood. Number one thing you can do is ask open-ended questions. Ask open-ended. Can you give me an example of what you mean? Can you give me an example of what you're referring to? Ask an open-ended question so that it's not like a one-ended yes or no. Okay. Or give me an example or repeat what they said. So am I hearing you correct? Did you just say that it don't matter how I feel?
No. All right. Those are good tips to utilize. What I was saying is even me asking the question, but they heard something in my voice that sounded like I was upset and I wasn't. It still leads to something else. It still leads to a further fight. Like, I don't know. I feel like either way you do it, either format or conduit you use, whether it's text messaging or talking verbally, I feel like it can get misconstrued either way.
Not if you use your words.
Listen, I've had opportunities where I've used my words and said, no, I'm cool. No, listen, I understand you heard this. No, I'm fine. But it still was like, no.
Okay, well, are you a person that your feelings and your words usually don't line up? Because if people can't trust you, and if like there's like some dishonesty or some disloyalty there, it don't matter what you say or how it come across. If your actions is different than your words, then of course they're gonna always have a guard up.
So you're saying because we're having a conversation and I'm just like, nah, I'm not upset.
But we know you're a liar and that you're upset. Then yes, I'm telling you, it don't matter what you say. He lying. I know he upset. How I know this? Because I know he a liar.
That could be what it is. I guess that could be what it is. That's a good point. That could be what it is. But I'm like, no, I'm cool. Everything's good. No, blah, blah, blah. But
and then you don't call nobody for 5 days. And then, but you said you was cool. Right, so right. That's why you get that.
That wasn't the case, though. That wasn't the case. I'm just, Do
you have a hard time communicating your feelings?
No, I think I do a good job communicating my feelings.
You do?
I think so.
Okay.
You don't think I do? Go ahead.
I don't know.
Tell the people.
It's hard to read you.
Give me an example where I didn't do a good job communicating my feelings.
Let me see. Me and you don't have that communication issue. No. You may have it with somebody else, but that ain't my fight. Testimony. That ain't my fight. I'll stand in my own battles, honey. Okay. Me and you, so we haven't had anything that we just debate about different like scriptures and stuff, and you debate about different things in life, but there hasn't been anything that
even my mom. I feel like I feel
Stuff
like
with your mother is always gonna, because stuff with Nehemiah is still it's always different with your child. Cause my son will be like, no, I'm cool, I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm chill, I'm chill, and I'm looking like, I know you're mad. Don't tell me. Talk about it.
So you
And then
saying he
can't
lying to you?
Yeah, because he don't want to deal with it at that point.
Okay.
So I already know when he gives
That's-
me certain things,
Mhm.
he doesn't want to talk about it. That's my key to fall back.
So
Don't
now-
pressure him. Leave him, and when
Ooh.
he's ready, and he'll be ready to talk about it when it's just like 2 weeks later, and we're going to
Now
get something
that-
to eat, and it's just like, mine. Remember when we was
That is I can identify with that. That is something that I've done. So and I've tried to like, yo, let me cool off, let me calm down.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. And that could be another fight or whatever the case may be. But I can see now where, because you may have you know me, like, and I'm saying I'm cool. But I feel like you should, it's tough. Because there's times when I'm saying I'm cool and I'm really not. I just don't want to talk about it.
So
And
then say I don't want to talk about it.
And I'm saying that
Yeah.
too because I'm like, it's gonna go somewhere else that doesn't need to go. I don't want to talk about it now. And it still winds up going there. But there's also times where I really mean I'm fine. No, I'm cool.
Then
Here's
that's
what I'm
on
saying.
the other person.
But from what you're saying, they know, like, yo, in the times past, you saying this, but you're lying.
Yeah.
So
your history is always going to be reminded that this is his comfort place.
Yeah.
He goes to the I'm fine. It's okay. Leave it alone. Let's dead it.
Yes,
So it may be difficult, but again, if we use our words and if our words line up with our feelings
actions.
and our actions, it
Mhm.
would be easy to communicate certain feelings. Now, what are some things that we can confront about? Like, what is something that we can we already know what the word we confront about.
Mm-hmm. Someone.
Because a confrontation is like a hostile that like is past the lines of communication. It's like a hostile meeting.
I don't know. Would you say abuse? I don't know.
Abuse.
Emotionally or, yeah, especially physically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like you should. I don't even think confronting necessarily has to be hostile. It just means I have to get this off my chest because you did something to me.
Okay.
That it made me feel some kind of way.
Okay.
So I have to confront you about this.
Yes.
I don't think it has to go, any hostile or anything further than that.
It doesn't.
But a lot of people can't have trouble doing that.
Yeah, they have trouble doing that. And then again, depending on the person, we automatically get defensive. If I'm not ready for what you are about to confront me with, my guard is going to be up. And so with time and place means everything when you're going to confront. If you have to confront somebody, time and place is everything. I would say if you have to confront somebody, schedule a meeting. Schedule a meeting. Because there's certain environments that's less threatening. I ain't gonna tell you to meet me like at the school. We gonna talk about this. We already know what that means.
Yeah,
or meet me at the park.
Yeah.
Meet me at the park, or meet me in the parking lot at
Let's go
work.
to Dunkin' Donuts.
Let's go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
Let's have a cup of coffee at Star. It's been a couple of times, even with like church friends, that it's been like we had to air it out, and it's just like, let's go have dinner and talk about what happened. Let's go, just something that's a little hostile, and that way, if it gets there, then y'all in a public place, nobody really want to embarrass yourselves. And then my whole thing is, I feel like women confront more than men do. I think like women let's go to reality television, which I hate reality television now.
Did you watch it?
You see, I watch like clippets of it. I don't really watch it, not no more, because every time I see a woman has another problem with another woman that's on the cast, what's the one thing they go sit down and do? They go sit down at a restaurant, a bar, or a club, or a lounge, or somebody's house. They got a drink in front of them. What's the number one thing they gonna do when they get upset? They're going to take the drink and throw it on the other woman. People, first of all, people that throw drinks can't throw hands. Let's be clear. But the number one thing you see when it's like, so now women, we have younger women that's obsessed with these reality shows, and now they're thinking in their head, when I have an issue with my friend, when we go out and if it's a drink in front of us, the natural thing for me to do is to take my drink and throw it in my sister's face instead of sitting down and talking as women. Yeah. It's just like sometimes social media and like things that we see on TV, it clouds our judgment on how we should react to one another.
Good, G.
Come on.
You're talking real good.
Sis got some sense.
Yo, this is real good. But don't you feel like that's, hold on. All right, I'm not going deep. But aren't they doing that? Isn't that culture vultures right there? Like they're trying to make they do that to us. They want to make us fight each other and be disruptive and put that on the masses in media, and our kids and whoever is just consuming it, thinking that this is how we should respond. When I'm not sure if other cultures, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
I don't know if other cultures are doing that. I think they try to portray us in this way. I don't even know if that stuff is real. It might be.
Some of it is not
staged.
real, but it's 90 million people viewed it this week.
That's
so
right.
And it's not their children. It's our daughters. It's our nieces and our goddaughters, and that's watching Black women throw drinks on each other and pulling people hair out. Like everybody have a confrontation every now and again, but to see that's just a routine is perpetuated throughout all of the shows. It don't matter what reality show it is. The climax of it is always like a battle, like a draw. Wow. And then how much do we see it on our brothers? We just see y'all fighting in football. We see y'all slapping each other upside the head. How you gonna punch somebody with a helmet on? Won't you break your hand? But as true. Far as men, it's different. You see men on reality shows that kind of they acting and certain things like that. But it's more it's affecting me because it's more of our sisters that we see it, and they this is why Black men running to white women now.
I don't think that. Yeah, because the media portrays that. I don't think there's such thing as an angry Black woman. To be honest. I think it's how you treat the Black woman. Like I said before, if you doing garbage and giving filth, like you're gonna get that frustration, and you're gonna see that, and they're not gonna take it. Other cultures might take it. But then they take you to court later and divorce you and take half your money.
They're going to take everything you got. You hit
Black
somebody.
Black woman going to ride with you, yo, for real. She's going to ride with you all the way.
But in corporate America, there are Black women, there are women, period. Men, women that's sitting at a desk and they're debating and they're going through things. And there's ways that they can get their voice across. Because even, I think, Barack Obama, he was talking about how he got a book out now, and he was talking about how the women in his camp used to come back to him and tell him, when you gone and other people are running your meetings, other men, they talk to us like we dummies. They talk down to us. They don't let us speak. And he said he had to go back and he had to confront them. Like, I'm hearing that when y'all running the meetings, and this is the president of the free world, y'all not letting them talk. Y'all talking over them. And so we come from a history where our voices have been baffled and we have not had a voice for so long. Now that we have the ability to use it and we have the ability to communicate effectively, let's do it in ways that don't portray us. That's not reality TV. Not going at it. Is
there something wrong with us that we consume it?
It's entertainment. It's entertainment. At the end of the day, that's what it's there for entertainment purposes. We ain't getting paid for it.
Something wrong with us that we view that as entertainment.
Well, they look like us. They dress like us. They act like us. They're our age.
That's not entertaining to me.
Not to you, but for the normal person that aspires to have I mean, yeah, you are you're pretty
I
normal to
got you. I
me,
got
but
you.
for you're not aspiring to be a rapper, so you're not gonna entertain a rapping show. You're not inspiring to be. I mean, you're aspiring to being a
I
musician.
disagree with that because I like lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
I watch rap shows or but I get what you're saying. I'm not trying
Mm-hmm.
to be
Confrontational. Go
tick for
ahead.
tack for everything. I'm just saying I think there's something wrong with us that we view that as entertainment. No matter if you're normal, for take me out of the equation. If you're enjoying watching sisters fight each other, and that's what you go to at night, I think there's something
Oh,
not right with you.
I'm talking to our audience, but it ain't just us because we can go to MTV, the stuff that they got on
Oh,
MTV, and it's
Okay.
white people,
Okay.
it's Spanish people. Telemundo, they got a Jerry Springer lookalike on Telemundo too. It's all over the world. I'm just talking to our demographics right now.
That's a good point. So now I'll make it broader then. So all demographics that find that kind of foolishness on entertaining, that you want to watch that and promote that, I feel like that stuff should be canceled just by not viewing it. Yeah, I don't know if you saw Dave Chappelle say, "Yo, boycott my show. They're not paying me."
Mhm.
That's what should be happening. Like, why whether white, black? Because you're right, it's everyone.
It's everyone.
Why watch that? How is that fun for you?
We can't get into minds as to why it's fun. I'm just saying because that's the dominant thing that we look at.
That's what they push. I don't know if
That's
we
what
look
they
at
push.
it. That's what they're pushing.
That's what they're
us.
pushing. Don't use that as a form of when you
Yeah.
see confrontation and communication, because we can get into a whole bunch of why they push what they push. But okay, we communicate things with our family. We ain't even gonna get into relation. We're gonna do a whole nother episode
Series.
on effective communication with relationships and confrontation. Again, in church and work, you have to confront.
Yeah.
Do it in a way that is first of all
take that time. Oh, you said time. Now let's say like your boss says something slick right then and there.
Mhm.
Do you take some? Are you taking time to calm down and then go address them, or are you addressing them right there?
I get dramatic. I'll be like, "Ooh, that was offensive," because it puts them on the spot.
I never thought to do that.
You think of me like that? That's what you think of me? That hurt my feelings, and not a lot of people can hurt my. Let me keep going through my skits.
Go ahead.
Not a lot of people can hurt my feelings. That hurt my feelings. Oh, that just triggered me. Damn, that ain't feel good. You just, whoo. I don't know what to say. I ain't even know you talk like that. Keep it going. Let them sit in their own mess. Because if you talking to people like that, and then when it hits them back, like, and then they're gonna come with, nah, I ain't really mean it like,
Wait. All right. I think that can work for you. Now I'm gonna put it back to me in my work environment, my atmosphere. My boss said, "Man, gross a set of balls," and I'm talking about, but that didn't mean that hurt. You may look at me like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you feelings? What are you talking about? I don't think I can say, man, that really hurt. That's how you think.
So don't say hurt. That was disrespectful.
Okay.
Because that was I would never say that to you. Like I mean, I know I couldn't say that, but that was a little disrespectful.
Okay. Right. Okay.
That was a little demeaning, because disrespectful can come off. Oh, that was a little demeaning, but okay, not a problem. I won't say nothing else.
So now when I had another situation like that arise, was I too much? I said, "Yo, hold up. What's your son name?" Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm not him. Don't talk to him like that. Are you lost your you lost?
Oh, you got bold with it. Oh, somebody hurt you for real.
Yeah, because when I first started, or just you know me my whole life, because I'm the non-confrontational, I'm cool. People thought, or have not even thought it, have said whatever, walked over me, and it's only my fault for allowing it to happen. I get it.
Oh yeah.
So people try you because you let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I did the flip on them, I had to get, you lost your mind. Don't you ever? I'm not such and such. I'm not 15.
You went to the
I'm a grown-
extreme. There was no middle.
Right.
There was no middleman. You went to the extreme.
I was-
There's no middleman. To take that a little bit, you could have erased a little bit of that.
So you
and
would have
got to the middle. Yeah.
All right. So I gotta find. Now I find the balance. Now,
yeah. Now you found
I got
balance.
the middle ground.
Mine's haven't really been, and we can go more into this into the next episode. My number one, the things that have hurt me the most have come from people in church. I remember my first, and I'll leave it with it. My first, I thought I was radical and I love Jesus and I was at a church that it was just like, come as you are. It wasn't, there was no boundaries. No, it was just like, Jesus wants you to come as you are. And I just was on fire for the Lord. And there was a new woman that came into the church and she was churched already. Like she had been to a couple of ones and she like been through couple of denominations, and she came and she thought she was on school me, and the first thing she said to me was like, I love your ministry, and I see you're a young woman in the Lord and you're raising your son and you coming to church. She said, but you are gonna lead the pastor to sin.
What?
Because your pants are too tight when you come to church. Yeah.
How'd you respond to that?
I cried. I went home. I cried.
Wait. Jeeah didn't check her right then and there?
I did. This is why I am the way I am now, because I went through so much of people saying what they wanted to me, even though I wasn't, you couldn't really say too much.
Wait. I don't recall you ever.
I have. When I first got saved, it was just.
Oh, Jeeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I never
knew. They
knew.
built this monster. Now, that's what you got.
So that's why when I respond that way to people, because one, what I've been through, I understand I need to get the middle ground, but I also feel like I got to match your boldness, your stupidity. So you want to meet me here. I'm not going to be stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm going to condescend you now, or I'm going to laugh at you.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to really attack you
because mine's was most of that hurt was like in church. I was intimidated because I didn't know as much, and I thought that these, some of these women were like my mentors, and I was the mentee, and I had to fall in line. I had somebody prophesy that my house was dirty and that diapers need to come and take my child. But we gonna get into that. Yeah, listen. It's been a whirlwind with communication and confrontation with me. That's why it's so near and dear to me, because now I'm that woman that I would never do that to a younger woman. I'm careful on how I judge people on what they do with their kids, how they live their lives, because I never want people to feel how I once left church feeling so beaten and so broken and so dirty and disgusted by women that were supposed to help me, to uplift me. The scripture says, if you see your brother falling or something, you lift them up. The stronger bear the infirmities of the weak. You don't tear me down thinking that you tearing me down. I'm not your sister. I'm not your daughter. I'm another woman in Christ as you, and you see my vulnerability and you played on it. And that took me to a point to where I'm glad that it happened the way it happened, because I wouldn't be
emotional right now. I feel bad. Like they did that.
Honey, I go back and look at those same women, and I walk up to them with just holy boldness, like, "Oh yeah, how you doing? I'm doing good. Yeah, I remember you. It's like, what level you on, sis? Because let's go. I ain't that same Jeeah. That was 18 years ago. Remember, I got saved 6 months pregnant when I was 18, really overzealous, like you said, seeking the Lord's face. And so I was kind of looking for, and my aunt was at a different, my aunt was at, and it wasn't all women. I'm not going to say all women, but the couple of them that did do that to me, it made me create myself a tougher skin, because I knew that I should not leave church crying because of what people said and did to me in the house of the Lord.
we're gonna end on that note, man. Yeah. And I think same thing. I had to learn how to have this little thicker skin and how to communicate with people because for 20 something years, I allowed this to be my mantra, to be me, and then be passive aggressive about it.
Mm.
So I get you on that, but I'm sorry. That hurt me. Anyways, listen. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Millennial Minded Podcast. We're on all streaming platforms.
Yes.
Apple, Spotify, Deezer, iHeart. What else? You can email us at the Millennial Minded Podcast at Gmail. And please follow us on Instagram at millennial.minded. We're pushing for like 1,000 subscribers. So we're trying to we're trying to build and get some traction. So if you can, please like, comment, and share with others that if you enjoy what we're doing, please share with everyone.
Yeah. If you want to join in on a conversation, don't forget to leave a comment.
Yeah.
Anything that and we will go over the comments next week. We're gonna keep this topic going because it's starting to bring some healing. Certain things you need to talk about and certain things you need to get out so that you know.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Yes, absolutely. I agree. That really hurt me.
You want to go get him from me? I already got him, honey. Came back a couple of years later. I loaded. Like you said, don't touch my son. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah.
To say that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, comment, subscribe, all that. Leave a comment, please. And we will catch you next week on episode
14.
Episode 14. 3 months in. We're doing good. Hopefully be around a lot longer. Yo, Jerry wants his hoodie.
Jerry, you'll have your hoodie this week.
There you go. There you go. Okay. God bless you, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, leave comments, subscribe, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Millennial minded.